romancing suspected serial killer Ellen Barkin in Sea of Love. Kevin Bacon is Hollywood's newest boy wonder in The Big Picture. And a fed-up housewife takes a vacation from marriage in Shirley, Valentine. It's all coming up next on Siskel and Ebert.
Where's your bathroom? Huh? Where's your bathroom? Where's my bag?
Al Pacino plays a detective who falls for Ellen Barkin, playing a woman who may be a serial killer of men in Sea of Love. It's one of 5 new movies we'll be reviewing this week on Siskel and Ebert. I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune.
And I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times. Our first movie is named Sea of Love, and it stars Al Pacino in his best role in quite some time as a cop assigned to a murder investigation. He discovers that the male victim of his investigation had answered an ad in a Lonely Hearts Club sex magazine, and then he meets another cop investigating another killing, and the 2 crimes seem to be related.
I heard from one of you guys you caught a good one. Face-down taxpayer, back of the head in his own bed. Me too, out on Yellowstone Boulevard.
No.
Yeah, the bullet we can't do nothing with. It got pancaked on a bed frame.
We got a great bullet. We got cigarette butts with lipstick on.
Yeah? We didn't get any butts.
Get any prints?
Yeah, nothing showed up on the file. So.
Let's compare them all.
That's John Goodman, who plays Roseanne Barr's husband on television as the other cop. Together they get a bright idea. Why not run their own ad in the magazine, take out all the women who reply, and see if their fingerprints match the killers?
You know, what's with the backup? What's with the wire? What's she gonna do, confess? Shoot me? We're in a restaurant.
You make me happy, okay? Now, who's writing the ad? Who's the poet?
Ellen Barkin stars in the movie as a woman who answers Pacino's ad. On their first date, something unexpected happens. He falls in love with her.
I believe in animal attraction. I believe in love at first sight. I believe in this. And I don't feel it with you.
Well, I'm hell on wheels once you get to know me, honey.
It's nothing personal.
Oh, come on.
The mystery deepens. Evidence seems to point to Barkin as the killer, but Pacino wants to ignore the evidence and listen to his heart instead.
What? What?
What are you looking for?
Oh, what are you doing?
What are you looking for? Huh? Huh? What are you looking for?
Like Jagged Edge and Fatal Attraction, this movie develops a lot of suspense out of the possibility that the hero has fallen in love with a killer, with a person who might wind up as his killer, and is totally vulnerable to the killer's secret instincts. The conclusion of The Sea of Love is not as clever as I would have liked. The solution to the mystery seems to appear from out of the woodwork, almost out of thin air, without playing fair with the audience in terms of the clues earlier in the film. But the movie itself is a chiller, a convincing mystery with good performances and convincing romantic chemistry between Pacino and Barkin. And Ellen Barkin, after this movie and The Big Easy, I think really emerges as a woman who has great passion on the screen.
Well, you know, you said that they fall in love, or we're talking about them falling in love and all that. What I like about the film is that they don't exactly fall in love in a conventional way. These are 2 street-savvy New York characters that they're playing, and they're very tentative. I mean, you know, he's a cop, and we buy him as a cop, and this is what's so great about Pacino. Finally, after such a long time, a decade of meaningless roles, he's got a good, juicy one here, and he's good at it. But I thought it was just really 2 strong adults locked in battle. Forget the mystery.
You put your finger on the best part of the movie, which is the relationship between those 2 people in all of its complexities and in all of its implications, including the problem that is raised by the thriller itself.
Right.
But to say once again what disappointed me about the movie is at the ending you say, oh, come on.
All right, but wait.
In a way, they have to play fair, and although they technically play fair, they really have brought the killer in.
I'm telling you, the tension level for me was not the mystery was there, of course, but the tension level was just to see two really strong adults go at it in a closed room, and what's going to happen?
Well, I could ask you about your tension level, but I'm afraid I couldn't do it without giving away a secret about the movie, so I'll...
It's a good picture.
You know what I'm thinking, though?
No, I don't even want to know. Our next picture, we go from Sea of Love to a contemporary comedy called True Love, a slice of Italian-American life about a young couple in conflict as they plan to celebrate their wedding. This would like to be sort of a young people's version of Moonstruck, full of conflict and colorful characters. Well, here the main couple argues about his plans for his bachelor party.
After Uncle Ben's party, I'm going to go out with my friends. It's going to be my last night out. Don't you understand?
No. How many last nights you going to have, Michael?
Oh, I don't believe this. What do you want? I'm going to be with you for the rest of my life.
So, we can't be together tonight.
What's the difference? Now, later, we're going to be together.
That's what I'm saying. What's the big deal?
That argument is credible, but the film really pushes credibility with an argument over mashed potatoes being served at the wedding.
Now, you've selected a menu of prime rib, baby peas, and mashed potatoes. We often color the potatoes to match the colors of the wedding.
Oh, yeah?
But with rainbow, you can go with anything. Might I suggest a pale blue?
Pale, that's
Wait a
nice.
minute.
Pale blue.
Did you say blue mashed potatoes?
Yes.
No. We're not having blue mashed potatoes at this wedding.
What kind of blue?
Men and women always take sides in these kinds of comedies. After the fight over the bachelor party, the women band together.
Don't worry, honey. Once you two are on your honeymoon, you can relax, have fun. He'll be fine.
Yeah, otherwise you tell him to take gas.
I'm serious. You open the oven door like this, and you say, Michael, take gas.
Some of the movie is overwritten, I think that scene is. Other scenes are funny and believable. I think the real discovery of True Love, however, is not in its derivative script, but in the skill of its principal actors, Ron Eldard and Annabella Sciorra. I think they are always credible and likable, even when the script is hokey. I'm giving the film a mixed review, but not to these two fine young actors, Ron Eldard and Annabella Sciorra.
Well,
they were appealing.
I'm not giving the movie a mixed review. I liked it, and I'll tell you why I liked it. First of all, you point out scenes like the mashed potato scene. That's accurate. They color mashed potatoes at weddings. They really do. And a lot of the other things in this movie are accurate, too, in terms of showing the wedding industry. And the point of the movie is that as the momentum begins to build with all the relatives on both sides and all the friends and the whole community pushing these two people toward the altar, and then the arrangements are made and the tuxedos are entered and so forth, the amazingly interesting thing about this movie is that these two people have no business whatsoever getting married. I mean, the bride's father tells her in the limousine as they're on the way to the church, honey, if you don't want to do this, you don't have to. But she has to because of the social conventions and pressures. And this is not, despite the title True Love, this is not a movie that is about two wonderful young people getting married and everybody lives. No. It's about the whole institution of marriage and how people sometimes feel that they have to go through with it because it's the role that they're assigned. Whether they want to marry the person or not, the church has been rented.
Well, I understand. And what you say is true, and it's a real force in a lot of people's lives, I'm sure. I'm talking about the actual lines that were written, and some of those things to me seemed very concocted, and I saw those played out. I will say that this guy, particularly this Ron Eldard, I thought he was real, and his responses seemed kind of real. It does seem a little bit audacious, wouldn't you say, to portray him, though, as a character who wants to go out with the boys on his wedding night, the night that they get married? Well, wasn't that preposterous to you?
Well, obviously. But on the other hand, it was believable. It was believable. This guy is afraid. He's afraid of getting married. He's afraid of getting married. He's afraid of his wife. He's afraid of his wedding night, and he's an alcoholic. That's clear. So what does he want to do after he gets married? He wants to go out and get drunk, because what he doesn't want to do is not drink and go home with this woman that he really didn't want to marry in the first place. Of course it's believable.
I think he likes her a little bit. I thought you just said a while back you thought it was preposterous.
What was preposterous?
That he would want to go out at night.
No, well, I said that I misspoke. I'm sorry. No, I think I can believe that, as a matter of fact.
I can.
And I can believe a lot of the things in this movie. I don't feel that it was overwritten. I feel that it does have a real documentary feeling to it, which is what I think they're trying to do. Coming up next, the big picture about a would-be filmmaker who gets chewed up by the Hollywood system.
Anything that Alan was involved with is dead. Bill, I don't have any money!
Our next movie is named The Big Picture, and it stars Kevin Bacon as a bright young film student who wins a big Hollywood prize and is immediately the toast of the town for about 10 minutes. As the movie opens, he's an honest, genuine, loyal, and truthful young man, but Then he gets blinded by the mirage of big bucks and overnight fame in Tinseltown, and he begins to believe what everybody is telling him. And eventually, he even starts sneaking out on his loyal girlfriend.
Where were you?
I went out.
I know you went out. That was 5 hours ago.
I went to a party. With Gretchen Gorman.
Who's Gretchen Gorman?
Susan?
Don't come any closer, Nick, unless you want to walk funny for the rest of your life.
She's just an actress, baby.
She's a bimbo.
She's an actress. Okay. A bimbo actress. A no-talent bimbo actress.
There is a lot of truth in the big picture, but also a lot of confusion. The movie is on target when it observes the way success can blind people and make them forget their old friends. But in a movie that was made by insiders about the Hollywood system, it's a little amazing how many Hollywood cliches this movie falls for. For example, the goofball agent, who's played by Martin Short, is such an impossible parody that a lot of genuine comic opportunities are probably lost in that role. Some of the best stuff in the movie is the angriest. I liked it, for example, when the Bacon character got hot all over again overnight simply because he didn't answer his phone, and so everyone assumed he was in demand. There's a lot of good stuff in this movie, but on the whole, I don't think it quite works. I can't give it thumbs up.
Yeah, it didn't quite work for me either. I think that sometimes the movie is shooting in movie parody style, certain sequences and fantasy sequences, and when it does that, I think that's a little bit too inside. I think they have a real good story here. If they, oddly enough, I think if they told it in a less complicated way, I usually don't argue for that, but in this case, I think that, you know, Kevin Bacon's a real substantial actor. The story is legitimate. Tell the story straight through. And
that's exactly what I thought. In fact, this movie made me hungry for another movie on this subject, almost from the same starting point. A young kid wins the prize, goes to Hollywood, gets an agent, and so forth. If they had done it in a straightforward way as a movie about Hollywood, instead of trying to turn it into also, I think they were trying to cover their bets with a Hollywood Shuffle type parody stuff.
Also being just too inside and too knowing about the movies, as opposed to, I think, know more about that character, and you can have all kinds of spin-offs into all kinds of yuppie professions that have nothing to do with the movie industry. Coming up next, a movie called Shirley, Valentine, about one woman's journey for self-respect. The hit play now is a movie.
Marriage is like the Middle East. There's no solution.
Our next film is called Shirley, Valentine. It's based on the hit London and Broadway play that was a one-woman monologue about one woman's battle for self-respect. She's very glib as she talks to us about the everyday strains in her marriage.
I always have my tea at 6 o'clock.
So just think how exciting it'd be if for once you had it at 6:15. It'd make the headlines. World exclusive. Joe eats late.
I think you're going round the bend.
Oh, I do hope so. I've always wanted to travel.
Deciding she needs a little change in her life, Shirley plans a trip to Greece and needs a passport photo.
I think sex is like supermarkets. You know, overrated. Just a lot of pushing and shoving, and you still come out with very little at the end.
That's a bit phony. Eventually, though, Shirley and a friend make it to Greece, where Shirley falls for a colorful restaurant owner.
You come now, you late. I put food, wine on board. I wait down, but you don't come. Then, a realization. Shirley and me, we are going bed so late last night. Probably she's overslept.
That's Tom Conti behind the mustache, and Pauline Collins repeats her Tony Award-winning role as Shirley Valentine. This is one of very few films that, for me, got better as it went along. That rarely happens. Shirley's speeches are gimmicky in the beginning, full of obviously written jokes. You can tell it's a play. Later, however, the jokes quiet down as we see Shirley relax on vacation. We see this very uptight character make a convincing argument for going easy on oneself, for giving oneself the time to breathe, time to relax, time to stop some of the negative behavior that keeps people from enjoying life. My only wish is that more of the obvious jokes had been cut from the script.
My only wish is that the script had been cut and the movie had never been made. This, to me, was one of the most appallingly banal and painful movies I've seen in a long time, and I hated it from beginning to end. I hated it at the beginning when she's talking to the wall. I mean, that might work on the stage, but when she, isn't that right, wall? I want to say, you know, I wanted to give her some advice. There's only a wall there. Then when she meets the guy in Greece, obviously they had to get an Englishman, Tom Conti, to play the role. No self-respecting Greek would play that incredible collection of Hellenic lover cliches. I was, going around with his mustache, I want to take you for a boat ride, and the sun sets as they're embracing each other in the surf. And then what happens? The happy ending is she gets a job as a waitress in his restaurant after he jilts her because he's a gigolo.
I don't know that that's the ending.
Well, there's a little coda at the end. When her husband turns up again, there's one scene that works. But this movie, to me, was so painful from beginning to end because the character herself was portrayed as so stupid, so self-involved, so archly cute that I really wanted to wring her neck.
I'm not recommending the picture, but I am recommending
I thought you were.
No, I'm recommending the.
It got better as it went along, and by the end, it was almost good enough that you still couldn't recommend it.
That's right.
Okay.
In other words, the beginning of the thing, when you say arch, I don't think she's stupid at all. When you say arch,
it is.
It is arch. It's phony. When she looks to the camera, that's a very powerful move in a movie. If you look to the camera and start talking to the audience, it doesn't work at all. It was obviously a holdover from the play. I think that they should have just told this woman's character. I think she's brighter than the character she's playing.
That's true.
But there are some speeches at the end that I thought were genuinely moving. When she talks about stop being viewing herself as simply a wife and a mother and start giving time for Shirley Valentine, for this character who she's always been, this person, that was quite moving to me, and I can't deny it. I wish there had been more of that sort of plain talk rather than the archly written talk.
Okay, coming up next, the Rachel Papers about an earnest young man who tries to win the girl of his dreams by sheer brain power.
Getting a girl can be like, well, waging a full-scale campaign.
Our next movie is called The Rachel Papers, and it tells the story of a young British man played by Charles Highway who knows he is not handsome or incredibly sexy, and so he decides to use brain power and his computer to win the battle of the sexes. He falls in love with a beautiful young girl played by Ione Skye and conducts his campaign with flowers, compliments, carefully chosen quotations of poetry, and a general attempt to convince her that he's an extraordinary and altogether irreplaceable human being. But she's an elusive target, and she seems to have another boyfriend somewhere around.
Look, what's the story here?
What are you talking about?
I mean, it's a setup, right? Instead of this time, it's not just the forest. This time, your whole bloody family are in on it.
No, it's not like that at all.
Rachel?
Rachel? Rachel? Rachel?
That was James Spader, a hot actor right now, as the boyfriend. The Rachel Papers has moments of comedy and charm, and I like the performances by Ione Skye and by a newcomer named Dexter Fletcher, who plays Charles Highway. But this movie has the misfortune of coming along just a few months after getting it right. Another movie about a lonely British outsider who tries to win love by being smarter than other people, and this movie is really not nearly as good. It's one of those films where the characters are taking so long to get to the point where you, and even they, know that they're obviously headed, that eventually you lose patience.
Yeah, I lost a lot of patience with this. Not only isn't it as good as getting it right, I don't think it's as good, and this isn't much competition, as a lot of the Hollywood films about young people. I think this was sort of like a British attempt to do the standard, Matthew Broderick, just speaking generically, young person on the make and caught up in relationships, and it wasn't flatly as entertaining. You can almost see why American films are dominating the rest of the world when here's a film that is really trying to be quite entertaining. It's not too complicated, and it's just not there. It's not particularly funny.
Well, the central conceit in the movie, which also comes from a novel, is that the guy has a program on his computer and he has 16 questions that he asks about every single girl, and then you see the questions being filled in and then various strategies. The computer is totally irrelevant. The Rachel Papers refers to the computer program about this girl. If they'd thrown out the computer and the whole idea of the Rachel Papers and had her meet the girl and try to deal with her on a one-to-one basis without the gimmick, the movie would have moved a lot more quickly.
I guess the reason why they used it is they thought it would be more contemporary to use the visuals of a computer screen.
In that case, this is just a tiny point. Every once in a while, when I see a computer in the movies, I wish they would show a computer screen that looks like a computer screen and has a program on it that looks like a computer program. This was obviously advertising graphics that somebody had pasted up as if it were a computer screen and didn't look like any computer program that has ever existed.
Okay, but
that's irrelevant as film criticism, but I didn't charge you extra for it.
I thought this was a film criticism show. Now let's recap our reactions to the movies on this program. 2 positive reactions to Sea of Love, a sexy thriller featuring Al Pacino's best performance in at least a decade. Ellen Barkin is exciting too, in a very strong and entertaining movie. A split decision on True Love, the Italian-American comedy about the pressures of getting married. Roger found the film far more realistic than I did. 2 thumbs down for the movie industry satire The Big Picture with Kevin Bacon. It gets sidetracked with inside film jokes. And 2 thumbs down for Shirley, Valentine, but we split significantly on how much we disliked the picture. Roger didn't like anything about it. I cared only for the ending. And 2 thumbs down for The Rachel Papers, the computer-laced teen dating comedy from England. And, you know, we got a little bit overwrought in how much we didn't care possibly for the ending of Sea of Love. That's a strong, entertaining
Sea of Love is a good movie, and we should mention the name of the director, Harold Becker, who has made 3 movies that I like, The Onion Field, Black Marble, and recently another James Woods picture called The Boost. He's a good director who deserves to be singled out.
I think what's so good about what Pacino does is I think he is submerged within the picture. He's not, the picture isn't about his character, it's about a combination of ingredients going on, the killer and their relationship, and so he's just an ingredient and very, very good.
That's right. That's it for this week. Next week we'll be back to review Michael Douglas and Kate Capshaw in Black Rain, and also In Country, Norman Jewison's first film since Moonstruck. It stars Bruce Willis and Emily Lloyd. That's next week, and until then, the balcony is closed.
Snowcaps, Raisinets, and Goobers. 3 big box office hits starring Nestle Milk Chocolate. Moviegoers give them a definite 2 thumbs up. Pledge. Generation after generation, Pledge keeps your wood furniture looking beautiful without any buildup. With Pledge, dusting can be beautiful. Johnny Cat Premium Cat Litter. Johnny Cat and a little privacy is all any cat needs. Everything else is just cat box filler. Give your home a splash of color and a scent of magic with Color Sense waste bags by Ruffy's. Perfect for the bedroom, bathroom, and kitchen. Color Sense.